hate to break the fishing news after Yaremchuk, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations. You're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down, Yaremchuk.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Woo.
Episode 275 of the Real Life Podcast. This one is going to go down in the history books. I'm your resident Donair virgin, Tyler Yaremchuk. Jay, Bag Milk, Chalmers are all here. This podcast is brought to you by Oodle Noodle. If you're hungry and you're not in the mood for a Donair, Oodle Noodle is the spot you should be hitting up. 14 locations in Edmonton. I'm excited for the one in St. Albert. And if you order curbside pickup or in-store, proceeds from those purchases go towards local charities. We just lost Jay in the Zoom call. So while we wait for Jay to reload and come in here, I will catch you guys up on basically what's happened. Earlier this morning on AM radio, I said on the Nielsen show, I said I've never had a Donair. I actually thought this was somewhat common knowledge from people that took in content of the Nation or the radio. Because I've talked about it on this podcast, I swear I've talked about it on this podcast like 4 or 5 times.
I think for me, I think you have now that you're talking about it, but just the surprising thing for me when I saw Lieutenant Eric's tweet was that you've been around the Nation for a long time now at this point, and you've come to a bunch of our events, and it's just like, it's very, very common for Nation crew to roll into a Donair shop after one of our events. So it's just like, I just kind of assumed at some point you would have been with us on one of those adventures.
That's part of the lifestyle, man.
Yeah, it just really is. Like, Jay, I mean, how many times have we rolled after left the pint and gone for a Donair? It just seems like that's the staple thing to do.
It's the Taco Bell cantina of post-game party rituals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was really surprised by that. Like, I mean, I think I did know that, but it's just nothing that registered until Lieutenant Eric tweeted it out.
Well, and it's funny because you live in St. Albert, and Simply Donair is an institution of St. Albert. So that Donair I sent you today is from Simply.
So my doorbell rings about 20 minutes ago now. And I go open it up, skip the dishes, driver is standing there, nice man. Then he goes, there you go, a package for you. And I was like, this isn't for me. And in our complex, because everything looks so similar in here, I was like, oh, you must have the wrong unit, man. And he was like, you're 15B? And I was like, yeah, I'm 15B. And he was like, well, it says it's for you. And I was like, can you check who sent it? Because I didn't know what was going on here. And then he goes back to his phone. He comes back and he says, Jay sent it to you. And I was like, okay. And then he goes, are you Tyler Yaremchuk? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I heard all about this. Like, it's your first Donair. I was like, yep.
What? He knew?
He knew.
Oh, wow.
So I
think
what?
There was no.
This is a tall
crazy.
Tale.
This is amazing. I just ordered it through Skip the Dishes.
Random Skip the Dishes guy knew that you were going to get your first Donair today.
Because I talked about it this morning on the radio. So if he was listening to the radio, he would have heard. He was driving a silver truck. He had like grayish silver hair, I believe, and he was like, "You're Tyler Yaremchuk." I was like, "Yeah." So the Donair was there. It's been sitting.
I like that. I was just kind of doing my thing, getting ready for the podcast, and Jay sends me a text, and he's just like, "I have ordered Tyler a Donair," and I was just like, "Good," because this is ridiculous.
I was trying to time it so it'd land like so well. We'd be on air and your doorbell would ring and you go get it, but like you never know it. They give you like a window of time, and so it was like 25 to like 45-minute delivery in terms of delivery. Yeah, there's always a window of time. So they hit like the 25-minute one. I'm like, damn it, they were too fast.
Well, here's the thing with Skip the Dishes. They always hit the earlier one. It's always closer to the earlier one. I think they just pad it in case something comes up, but they almost always hit the early one.
Okay.
All right.
What kind did you get?
I'm curious. Yeah. Let's walk through this.
I got him a regular cheese Donair.
Meat, cheese, and sauce?
Lettuce, tomato,
and onion.
And onion. Oh, the onion is pungent.
Yeah.
The whole odor here is very pungent.
I just went with your standard Edmonton Donair. I myself am a no onion guy, but I just assumed Yaremchuk is an onion guy, so went with it.
Did you at least treat him right and get him extra sauce?
He's got sweet sauce. I don't know if I had extra sauce as an optional, so I would have done it.
Just like
Yaremchuk, the one thing you got to know about Donairs is
Yeah.
They're
the
amazing.
more sauce, the better.
Mhm.
And if they're dry and don't have sauce, I'll tell you how to eat this thing. What you do is you wrap it back up. You go to your kitchen. You open up the garbage. You put it in there, and then you go about your day.
This is
Because-
also a shocking
my
revelation
God,
from today's
yeah.
podcast.
This is not needed, Chalmers. We do not need your
I
takes
did
on
not
Donairs or no.
expect Chalmers to be this anti-Donair. I just
I'm
didn't
not a
see it
big-
coming.
So I used to eat them out of pure laziness because my friends would go there and eat them. The only Donairs I ever enjoyed, and I've said it on this podcast, is the ones at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
with lots of sauce. And
they're
yeah,
the best drunk
at
food
2 in the-
going.
they are. They're great.
There,
but-
see, perfect.
I cannot eat one for lunch. That's just
So-
not a thing that's
Well,
ever
I was
going
just
to
going to
happen.
say,
Well,
that's what I was
the
going to
s-
say is I don't remember the last time I've had a Donair sober.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about a Donair is drunk. They're amazing, and there's better ones drunk. There's better versions of Donairs when drunk than when not. But like finding a sober Donair shop is very difficult, and that's if you that's what makes you like a premier shop. Is can you have this Donair sober?
To me, the meat is a dime a dozen. You'll get the one that has
It
lots
is
of
not-
lots of spice,
No, I
but
disagree.
it's the sauce that changes it all. You
No,
disagree?
okay, so no, you're not okay.
I agree
So
with the sauce,
your,
but I
your
think
take on
I
the
think-
meat is wrong.
Yeah, I think the
Um,
meat is key.
But your take on the sauce is right. Sauce
Yes.
means everything. Like there's Donair places that their sauce isn't good enough or doesn't have a good flavor. And yeah, if you're having go to a Donair shop where the meat is similar, the sauce is what'll make or break it.
Yeah.
Okay, without further delay, Yaremchuk,
Mm-hmm.
take
Start
a bite. Damn it, boy, have a taste.
So
Wear it.
here's what I just want to say. It's my first impression of this in terms of the plating is that it's rather soggy. This is
Well,
going to
see-
get messy. And also the odor. I don't know if it's just all the onion, but there is like a very pungent,
the
I use
onion.
that word again. It's a pungent odor to this sandwich.
It's the onion. I'm a no onion guy, so it's fine. But the thing about Donairs, I remember when I was a younger lad and I would go out and I was still living at home. Is I'd go out 2 a.m., crush a Donair at mama's, come home and pass out. And my mom would come wake me up because I'd have to work at Safeway or something in the morning. She'd open the door to my bedroom to wake me up and she'd just start smelling. Did you have another one of those Donairs last night? Because you're just like sweating out all of the beautiful spices and aromas and flavors. of
Another
the
thing
Donair.
that-
Absolutely disgusting.
Another thing that's really important here is that we need to get to it because a Donair isn't something that you just want. You're
No.
not going to let this fucker
Like,
marinate.
with enough
it.
delay. And
he's-
Yaremchuk, don't sleep.
He's trying to eat it like a spicy gordita crunch right now. Like, this
Yeah,
is
this
is-
there's
he's eating it like a
there's
soft
a whole
taco.
program here. Yeah.
How else do I
first
eat
of all,
it?
Rookie
You should-
mistake.
you should have
rookie
kept it in
mistake
his
by-
wrapper.
Yes. Yeah. You
I
never
didn't know
take it out of the
that.
bag.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, don't
that's,
sleep on the back.
that's the best
drip.
part of this.
It's going to drip out the back. Eat it over
Just
the
wear
tin
it.
foil.
Yeah.
Try to keep it parallel. Do not tilt it so
'Cause
the
it-
sauce can stay consistent.
Oh, just take a goddamn bite of the thing already.
What,
for crying out
what
loud.
Tyler's doing here is he's eating it like a taco, and I
We'll
have
put the
concerns
video
about
up
the
later.
mess. Yeah, we'll definitely get this going here because
Bagmo,
Tyler's
take a
eating
photo of the
taco.
screen here. Take a
I'm-
photo
I'm
of the
on it.
screen here.
I'm on it. Tyler, please walk us through. I need Tyler to say something, so he's big on my screen again.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Shout out to my mom, who's the only one in my family who likes Donairs. This bite
I
is
love
for
your
you,
mom.
K-Dog.
See it all fall out the back.
This was a rookie maneuver. Like here, I see Tyler. He's attacking it. He's chewing. He's savoring. I can see this is going to be a messy one for Tyler. He's nodding in approval though. I feel like there's some.
He
His
doesn't
grip-
hate it. He doesn't
There's
hate it.
processing.
Let's put it that
No,
way.
he likes it. His grip with the Donair reminds me of how I picture the Queen drinking tea.
Yes,
It was very
pinky
like
out.
the pinky out and very like fingery and like it was very
Dainty.
prim and proper. It's very dainty.
Yeah. So
You gotta
Tyler's-
like the thing about a donut is you gotta like you gotta wrap your hand around it.
All right. Enough.
Okay.
Yaremchuk, what do you think?
So the sauce, very sweet, like very, very sweet. When I hear sweet sauce, I wasn't even quite expecting that. I was expecting something like a little bit closer to almost ranch, but this is very sweet and tangy.
Wow.
Um,
some people
As-
do get ranch on their Donairs, and it drives me crazy.
No,
So I don't mind the sauce. And as far as the pita was good. The
Was
meat,
it moist?
Yeah, it was very, very moist. Very messy.
Cute.
I'm getting some all over here. But what I'll say, like the meat almost reminds me of like almost like a roast beef, kind of. That's kind of the closest comparable I'd give it. Better than I thought. Definitely better than I thought. I agree that if I was really drunk, I would enjoy this a lot. As a standalone lunch, this is going to be a lot to put back. But I'm going to work on it throughout this episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
definitely feel like it's a. If you go for a Donair for lunch, you got to go with the smallest size possible because of that. Because they can put you into a bit of a coma.
Yeah. I want to know first impression. Let's give it a ranking out of 97, Tyler.
Out of 97,
it's going to be in the 60s. It's going to be in the 60s.
Oh, don't lead him.
Yeah,
I was going
to.
I'm not. I could just feel it.
I'm going to say a 65 out of 97. Like it's definitely a passing grade. At first I was going to go 56, give it a Tyler Yamamoto, but it's a little bit better than that. It gets a passing grade. Is this an A+ meal? No. Do I feel like that was simply Donair? I got like a good solid sandwich here. I think so.
Sandwich?
Well,
so that's also interesting.
What's going to happen now is you are going to witness the law of diminishing returns. Every bite after that is going to be worse than the first one. Now, just listen.
Slanderous.
Jeez, can you mute him, please?
This is slanderous.
When you're done, you're going to regret with every burp your decision to eat that.
Oh my God.
It's going to make you feel disgusting, the smell. And then really hope.
Chalmers is the exception to the rule here.
I really hope that you did not save your pennies when it came to buying your toilet paper, because you will need the softest stuff you have. Later on.
Jesus, Charles.
That's probably
Enjoy that.
That's probably from the rye you drink, Chalmers, not the casual Donairs.
We'll see. Chalmers is doing this dirty. You have to eat that whole thing, and then what we're gonna do, Yaremchuk, is we're gonna
get a stool sample.
Yes.
No. We're not gonna get that deep. But I'm gonna take you to we're gonna go on a Donair date, and we're gonna create some video content on it. So we'll get Josh Park when we're allowed to do dine-in, or maybe we'll do a tailgate Donair in the back of the nation.
You know what the only thing worse than eating a Donair yourself is, and more disgusting, is eating one with JR and watching him eat it. It gets all on his beard and on his shirt. Oh my God.
It's a romantic experience eating
you're
a
really
Donair.
diving in.
You got to go for it. If you don't go for it, then you can't really go for it. There you go. See, that was a good bite.
There we go. Tyler is pulling. There we go.
Hi, I'm getting sick to my stomach.
Oh, I'm jealous. I ordered him the Donair, and I'm like, I got to order myself one. I'm like,
I'm also thinking of ordering a Donair.
Look, I respect the people. Like, listen, I'm not saying that it's the worst thing I've ever ate. I've never.
Sounds like it.
Sure, sounds like it.
Sounds like it.
I eat stuff all the time that gives me the same burps and the same, after effects of a Donair. I eat those things. I cannot eat one for lunch. You are going to feel different for the rest of your day. It's just a fact. I'm telling you.
You're also talking to a 23-year-old machine here, Chalmers. He's going to get up and roll for a run after this.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, okay. I'm going to keep putting this thing away.
I'm just glad to be a part of your first one.
Thank you for opening me up to this.
See, now, Tyler, now that you've had the first kind of taste in your mouth, I also want to paint a picture for you. Mm-hmm. Next time we're allowed to have a gathering at the Pint downtown, we've watched a big Oilers win. We've all had a bunch of nation beers. We're feeling great. The night is still young. It's 11, 12, maybe 12:30. You're getting a little bit hungry. We wander out as a crew and go for a Donair. Everybody's feeling great. Everybody's feeling excited. Then you get a nice warm Donair, not one that's been traveled.
Yeah.
Not one that's been sitting for a little bit until we started the podcast.
Yeah.
Fresh. And then you'll know also to keep the bag on.
Yeah. I think I'd go no onion as well. The onion.
I'm a no onion guy, but I just wasn't sure if you are, and I didn't want to offend you because maybe you love onions. So I kept it on.
Yeah, and see, whereas I'm a guy who enjoys it as the artist prepares it. Although I will add some banana peppers when I'm feeling frisky.
Your fiance is not going to kiss you for the rest of the day. I hope you know that.
Oh, she was not happy about the odor in the kitchen. She didn't
the whole house is going to smell for the rest of the day.
Well, it was my wedding present to you.
And then, here's one thing though. Make sure you finish it, because if you throw that thing in the garbage, your house is going to smell like that for the rest of the week.
Or I'm going to come get it because I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah, got to eat that thing. So
George Costanza it out of his garbage can.
The delivery Donair is always a grind. But you know what, Yaremchuk, you're eating a Donair, so I can finally say this. Welcome to Edmonton.
Yes. Yeah, welcome to the nation.
I haven't been here long enough.
Yeah, unbelievable. This is a shocking day of revelations today, because I did not expect Chalmers to be so anti-Donair. And I hadn't expected Tyler to just never have tried one before we saw that tweet going around today. And shout out to the citizens for tagging us, real life listeners, for making sure that this was at our attention, because this may have slid under the radar.
Like the minute I saw that tweet, I texted Yaremchuk his address for gear deliveries, and then replied to the tweet just so he couldn't connect the two.
I love
that was I honestly sorry.
No, how much he sends people food. So they right at the beginning of them getting Pelotons, they'd get very aggressive about their competition level, and so they'd send each other pizzas before the ride, like the night before the ride. Oh yeah, I think we talked about this. All right, that was worthless.
Sending people food's the best. Well, I had a bet with my buddy Cruz in Moose Jaw, and I had to send him donuts, and then I won the next bet, and he had to send me noodle.
Speaking of Moose Jaw, can I ask you a question about Moose Jaw? I was just scrolling the search window in Instagram, and I saw a reel from a guy, and he was wearing a Moose Jaw Warriors or some sort of Moose Jaw jersey. And he said, and he apparently travels around Moose Jaw and just points out funny things about Moose Jaw. I don't know if you've ever seen this guy.
I need to know this guy.
He pointed up at a sign, and it was a sign that had an arrow pointing straight ahead, and then above it was a question mark. Do you have any idea what the hell that would mean? It was coming up to a bridge. And do you know what's funny? I had a dream last night. It's weird how my dreams always get triggered by like small little things I see during the day. They all kind of make themselves into a movie at night. Yeah. I had a dream that I was at a party with your cousin, the mayor of Moose Jaw, Mikey D. Yeah. And I asked him about this, and he had this whole long story about it. It was a crazy dream.
I think the question mark means like it's like an information station or something, and it's like information up ahead. I think.
Oh, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, information station up ahead.
On the topic of Moose Jaw, I've got a little bit of a dilemma, and I kind of want to ask for some guidance here. So, a good friend of my cousin, Cruz's father. His name is Derek. Great guy. So I've established that Derek's a great guy and he's from Moose Jaw. Yep. We also know the world that we live in. Trying to get a bike is very difficult, right? Because demand for bicycles is crazy. So he wanted to buy Cruz a bike. He found a bike, but it was at United.
Great guy, that Cruz.
Great guy. Leafs fan though, so we got to fix that. But anyways, so he's like, hey, I just bought this bike at United Cycle for Cruz. Do you mind picking it up and shipping it to me? And I was like, yeah, sure. Sweet. Yeah, no problem. Well, go and pick up the bike. I thought it wasn't going to be assembled.
As far as favors go, that's not a great guy thing to ask. That's a lot.
Well, yeah, but like I said, Derek's a good guy.
Send me a bike?
Well, I once again, I thought the favor was go to United, pick up a box, take it to Purelator, and ship it.
Oh my God, the thing was already assembled?
I've got an assembled bike in my office.
He's a good guy, not a great guy. This sounds like
so I picked up the bike, and I'm like, dude, how am I supposed to ship a assembled bike? He's like, holy shit, I don't know, man. I'm like, okay, well, like, just so you know, whatever happens here, it's gonna cost a lot. He's like, yeah, don't worry. So now the question is I've had this bike in my office for a week, and I
know this story ends. That bike never gets shipped.
I'm looking at my schedule. When's the next time I'm going to Moose Jaw? I'm like, how the hell am I going to get an assembled bike down to Moose Jaw? This seems like something that's so simple. Oh my God. It's also a kid's bike.
Dude,
we can raise some money.
This is literally anything but simple. There's nothing simple about this.
Yeah.
You either take it apart and box it in the smallest box ever to save him money, which is just costing you time, or You go to FedEx, you say, can you ship this fully assembled bike? They laugh at you. They say, how would you like us to do that? They probably throw it in a truck, not in a box, just like it is. It shows up with serious damage, and that's how it ends. Or you put it in the Nation truck and you find a reason to go see your cousin.
Well, when restrictions allow, I always go down to Moose Jaw in the summer, so I would. But like, it's like, is that August? Like, I got to think about Cruz here. He's excited for his new bike.
Yeah,
I would just Amazon Prime him a bike. I'm looking at Amazon right now.
just buy him a bike.
Yeah, let Bezos deal with the shipping.
Like, just don't even worry about it.
I love when a simple favor turns into you being in one deep and hard.
Well, and he's like, oh man, I understand this is extremely difficult. So he's extremely patient here while I kind of figure this out.
Oh, the burps from this fucking Donair.
My God, you're making me sick.
That's the gift. That's the gift.
My mouth feels like a sauna. Like it's like hot and like sweaty.
Oh, that's great.
That's good. That's good living.
And you're only on bite 4 of 12.
Oh, I know. I'm not even close to done this fucking thing.
So far we've got some
law of
feedback.
diminishing returns. Now what is it? A 50? A 55?
Yeah, it's decent. Like I understand why people like them.
We've got some feedback coming in on Twitter here. I posted the picture of Yaremchuk enjoying his Donair.
Dustin's going to be mad because he wanted to do it on his show. So shout out to the Nielsen show. I feel like that's an obligatory like our bad.
Scooped you. Scoop.
Oh yeah, he's not getting great content.
I didn't get the scoop. Well, to be fair, didn't know that was an agenda. Because I reacted the minute I saw the news. So Surveyor Brett, why is it so open-faced? Did anyone explain it's not a taco? Yeah.
And we didn't get there yet. We didn't get there. Tyler was eager for his Donair.
Yeah.
Angry tweets incoming about the lettuce on the Donair.
Oh, you Halifax truthers.
That's a lot of lettuce. There's some lettuce, too many greens. Yep. So far that's where we're coming in. Wheaton Oil,
everyone.
Resident Oilers fan, Twitter, doctor. It's about damn time. And Jamie calls it a baby Donair. So just a regular size. So Jamie is a man who obviously loves. I
should have got him a jumbo. Should have got him a jumbo to crush through the whole thing. Yeah. To our resident doctor, Wheaton Oil. He made himself extremely famous for breaking down.
Yep.
How the vaccine works.
Yep.
Which is super cool to see. And
he's the MVP of Oilers fans this season, no matter how anything breaks down.
Like when a tweet goes
1
viral, his went viral to the point where
worldwide
viral, and to the point where
what did he break down?
How the vaccine works, how the RNA vaccine works.
Yeah, and he explained it very well in a thread of tweets that is very easily understandable and digestible. So it just erupted. So now my favorite part about him is, first of all, he's a great guy, and secondly, that now all these people followed him for COVID/vaccine tweets. But during an Oilers game, he's an Oilers fan. So he's in the mix tweeting about Nuge and McDavid and all that. And they're like, what's going on here? So it's the best. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Well, as far as vaccines go, I didn't know if we were going to talk about this or anything, but on Tuesday morning, because I am over the age of 40, I was eligible to now get the AstraZeneca vaccine shot. And so when I found that out, I found my closest pharmacy that was going to take walk-ins. And I showed up at 8:45 when it opened at 9. When I got there, there was 6 people in line ahead of me. So I got in line. They were taking 2 at a time. By 9:38, I was sitting in my truck, vaccinated with my first shot, and I had 15 minutes to wait to see if it was okay. After I waited, I gave them the thumbs up and I drove away. Now, the rest of that day, I felt great. I felt happy. I was totally happy. I knew there could be some potential side effects. I knew that my wife was getting it that day, and a bunch of my friends were also getting it that day. And so this is kind of my reaction to it. And I've heard that it's been about 95% of the people that I know's reaction to it as well. Is about 11 o'clock that evening, I was sitting at my computer and I became very cold. My feet and my hands and my nose became super cold, and the rest of my body super hot. And so I figured I was getting the chills, and I decided it was time to pack it in for the night. So I went to bed, and for 3 straight hours, I laid in bed, and I just, I could not get my hands warm. And yet my neck was just boiling, right? So it was kind of uncomfortable. I fell asleep. I woke up the next day. That chills had gone away. For that day, basically, I felt just a little lethargic, as if I had, been on the second day of a 2-day hangover. And, last night at about the beginning of the third, I watched about the first 5 minutes, 9:45, and I just went, you know what? I need to get a good sleep. I went to bed. I woke up this morning, and I feel amazing. So if you don't know what to expect from that, that has been the same way a lot of people was. And I know, JR, you got it the exact same time, maybe a couple hours later.
I got it at like 1:30, and I went golfing that afternoon and was fine, went to bed, and then woke up and just, I never got the chills thing. I woke up and I'm like, I could only describe it as like being hungover. Like I was just like, I just felt like run down and tired. So yesterday for me was just a bit of a grind, as a bit of a zombie. So everything just felt a little bit more difficult than it needed to be. But yeah, just felt tired. Wasn't sure if I was going to I'm like 8 o'clock game. Well, can I stay awake that long? But then sure shit, powered through it. And yeah, had a good night's sleep. And now I feel fine.
To be clear, the feeling of getting it and the feeling of knowing that your friends are all getting it and that it might be a baby step. I know restrictions are the same. It feels like one small step towards just us getting together and being back to normal. The feelings that I felt that were negative definitely did not outweigh the feelings of positivity, the feelings of hope that I had. And so for anybody that's kind of like, just read up on it. But it's so freeing. I just felt that. I don't know. It was a positive experience for me, and I can't wait for my second shot.
I was so pumped. And I remember like 12 months ago, I would be laying in my bed every night before I go to bed, in full lockdown, and I'd be checking and reading the world's news about where COVID is at. And I would just be saying in my head at every time, like, oh, I hope they make a vaccine. I hope there's a vaccine. I hope they can get a vaccine. And like, fast forward 12 months later, I've got the first part of the vaccine in me. Like that's amazing. The progress and the fact that, that the light is at the end of the tunnel. So the fact that I felt tired yesterday, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'm super happy for you guys that you got your first one.
Yeah.
I'm just under the window where I'm able to go, but as soon as I can, I'm super excited. And last night, actually, I had a friend of the nation, the Towel Boy, sent me a really cool article from the New York Times about what's going on in your guys' bodies right now after the first shot, and like the science behind how these things work. And it's really, really neat. And I'm pumped that you guys were able to get it so quickly. And I'm happy for both of you.
And you know what the funny thing about it is too? It reacted just like a cold or like the flu for men and women. When men get the flu or get a cold, we just seem to be a bit more of a baby about it than women do, women are. They seem a lot tougher at getting sick than we are. Well, all the women I know that got this thing on Tuesday, they did not experience the same fever / chills, the small windows that you would get it, but they did feel lethargic, but they didn't get that, freezing in my own body right down to the bone. Yet almost every guy I know got it. So kudos to women, man. I don't know what it is with you guys. It's just tougher when it comes to this shit than we are.
We've got a buddy whose nickname is Harambe because he's like just got gorilla strength.
He's a silverback gorilla. He's a human version of a silverback gorilla.
He's your friend who's the nemesis. He's just so strong, and he can just inflict his will on you at any time, and he's annoying about it. Anyways, he's like religious 5 a.m. club up and at him in bed. That guy yesterday slept until 8:30.
Yeah, but then he was in bed later on in the day too. He
got tranked. He got Frank the Tank tranked.
He did. Anyways, to finish up vaccination talk, I love seeing that the younger people like you guys are like, you're kind of the same way as we were to the older people. Like they were kind of done with getting it. The AstraZeneca, it just didn't seem like it was flying off the shelves. And then all of a sudden it gets opened up to us and we're excited. And it's like, I can't wait for it to get opened up to you guys, because I know that there was floods of people for the last 3 days going to get it. If my inner circle, and then even sort of an outer circle that I have, if that was an indication of the amount of people in total that were going to get it now that they were allowed, it's fucking great. It's great to me.
I can't wait. As soon as my day comes, I will be the first one there as soon as I'm able.
Whatever you do, if you sleep on one side and you like to sleep on that side better, get the needle in the other side. I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
It is, because it does hurt your arm. Like my arm didn't hurt all day. Actually, I could have played golf too that day. And it wouldn't have hurt. But the next day, like if somebody would have punched me in the arm, I would have fallen down in a fetal position like a baby. I will wear
that sore arm as a badge of honor.
Oh, me too. And now I'm fine. I went to baseball practice last night. It was awesome. Throwing the ball around. It was great.
How's the pitching practice going with those kids?
So actually, last night we played an inter squad game.
Oh.
And it was the first chance the kids got at live pitching to a live batter. 3 kids plunked. Not bad. Unfortunately, those kids need to learn how to take a ball, because 2 of them were in the back, upper back too. So like shoulder blades, not great. All in all, the kids I thought did fantastic. The weather turned out to be just absolutely horrid. It was such a nice day, and then it turned bad. But to watch them play, we had to play the field because our team's only 14. We couldn't field a full roster with a split squad. So the coaches played the outfield, and the kids did great. Just watching them learn, just like every situation in baseball in the infield, it's awesome. I was really happy with them.
I'm happy we got some vaccine talk too, because I think that's huge right now. People can whatever. I'm sure there are people listening to this who are going to give us the old "fuck you, stop talking about it" thing, but like, I will put pretty darn close to anything in my body if it means we get to watch Oilers games in person again, or be at the Pint for a playoff game. So, I mean, jab me up with fucking whatever, man. Let's get through this. So shout out to you guys for going to do that, because it's one more step towards normalcy.
And I think shout out to you guys for wanting to talk about it publicly as well.
Eager.
I think that's important. Talking about, you got the AstraZeneca, a little bit of a sore arm, but you know what? All good.
Yep, all good.
Before we keep moving on, need to give some love to twigandberries.ca. They got that new sexy website. And if you want to be new and sexy, just like their website, pick up some nutsack underwear. It caresses your under area very nicely. And I think that's a good combo. You get the vaccine, and then bam, you're on to Twig and Berries. Get some fresh looks for now that you can go out and about in the summer, all that good stuff. If you use the promo code NATION15, you also get 15% off. So shout out to Twig and Berries, everyday clothes for the everyday man.
Some more Donair feedback coming in. People are very interested in Tyler's first experience. Narman Issa from CTV says, okay, I don't want to be that person, but it's not a Donair. A Donair is closed at the bottom, wrapped tightly with tinfoil. So I explained. Tyler was very eager. He didn't allow us.
He unwrapped the present too fast.
Because I was going to put it in my oven for a bit to keep it warm, and then I quickly realized I couldn't do that.
Tyler, it'd be great, buddy. Toss that baby in the air fryer for a couple of minutes.
I'm worried my air fryer will never smell the same.
Someone needs to teach him. This one's from Fiddler. Someone needs to teach him not to completely unwrap it and use the foil to catch the drippage.
Yeah, we'll do a take 2 Donair date.
No, I was, like I said off the top, I was the resident Donair virgin. No one's first time is ever perfect.
Yeah, like, people, come on, give the guy a break, like, for how he eats it. Jesus, it's not like it comes with an instruction manual.
Neil says you expect that amount of green when you're drunk at 2 a.m., but not for a midday Donair.
I think Donair culture is what turns people off of this. Like, people are just so judgy and like, hey, we're all Donair fans, I guess.
But but here's the thing.
It's intensely personal.
It's like cheering for your hometown team, right? But your hometown Donair is like a neighborhood Donair shop. So everyone defends their shop just like they would defend the Oilers or the Leafs, depending where they come from. So
would you say that people that love Donairs are European soccer fans right now, and I am the Super League? Does that make any sense?
I don't think the other two get that reference.
No. I get it, but they would just be
the biggest story in the fucking world.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Don't get it. Yeah, no.
But no. I get it, but it would just be like
Bubble boy.
EPL fans. It would just be like rival EPL fans wanting to literally almost come to blows defending their team.
Paula says, I'm not anti-lettuce on Donairs, especially if I'm eating it right away, but not so much if it's replacing meat space. Robin Brownlee chimes in, first Donair, do we not vet people before they join Oilers Nation?
Bronte.
Robert says, that's a vegetarian taco based on the amount of lettuce I'm seeing.
Oh my God! What is with the lettuce?
I think we're doing the Donair wrong here. I think maybe how Tyler was holding it and the lettuce was there. Like I think it was. I think.
Are these the type of people? Are these the type of people that don't like sushi with like crunch and sauce all over it? Are these like true Donair purists that are saying no lettuce? Like what? I don't get it. I'm not.
Here's how I look at it. After doing the Donair Championship of Edmonton last year in 2020, the first ever edition. You could just see how intensely personal a Donair is to somebody. It's like music almost. It's very subjective. You got shop loyalty. You've got presentation, obviously. Lettuce is a problem for a lot of people, it seems.
Yeah.
So this is exactly kind of what I expected. When
I feel like a quick look in the mirrors in order for a lot of you.
Just really judgy about
what you're getting passionate about right now.
Yeah.
Should we talk about last night's game?
Oh, we can talk about both games, really. Like Monday's game. Like here's how I'd sum up the last sort of week around the Oilers. Yeah, Saturday against the Jets was the Oilers' most complete and best victory of the season. Monday was the Oilers' most entertaining victory of the season, and that was probably from just a hockey fan perspective, that was the best game I've watched in a long time. It was heated.
It was fun.
There was shit going on. There was weird stuff. There were good plays. There were big saves, nice goals, everything you want. Wednesday was, oh God, I got hot burps from this fucking Donair.
Oh, good God.
So Wednesday was just a bit of a letdown in the physicality side of things. Like it wasn't as like intense and spirited, but actually I didn't think the Oilers played that bad.
I thought that this is what I thought last night. They were engaged in the physical side, but that's kind of where their brains were at. It seemed like they were passing up. Like I know a lot of people, especially Oilers fans, like to talk about shot quality, but in that first period, they got outshot 13-4. I would have just loved to see the boys throwing more pucks on net with some traffic, try to create some chaos. Sometimes you got to make your own luck. I thought Montreal did a good job of that last night, whereas the Oilers did not. Very fun physical side, but like
when Montreal clogs up the middle like they do so well, you got to stop doing the cross ice and just throw shit on net and try to create chaos. Exactly to your point, Bagman.
My two takeaways from last night's game were they have a great power play entering the zone through the neutral zone play, where they kind of do that, pass it back to a guy, but instead of him being the one that gets to skate it in, they curl two people to each side, knowing that one will be open because of the amount of stuff they've done before it. They've always got a guy off one of the wings. They pull a guy off of one of the wings, and therefore they just have to go to the open wing and he gets it in almost every time they did it. And I was wondering why we weren't stopping it. Number two, where the fuck do we get a Josh Anderson from? How do we get one of those guys? Because that guy, he's tough as shit, right? And he's like,
that's a power,
really skilled player. That play, when you saw his first goal, I said, right when I saw Larson stumble, I said, this guy's going to go hard to the net and he's going to create a chance and he scores. And you saw it coming from the blue line. So, that's supposed to be our Cassian, right? Like that's supposed to be what Cassian does.
Yeah.
But I mean, like we would dare to be so lucky as to have Cassian be Josh Anderson. And speaking of Cassian, how fucking bad luck was that? He goes to throw a hit behind the net. What is that? A Charlie horse?
Maybe I hope it's a Charlie horse. I hope it's a Charlie horse.
It's funny because then you see Petrie go down kind of not too bad, and his lower back, and like I don't know about lower back things. Like I didn't know they could just go away, but then he comes back out and plays. And when that happened, and then they were saying Charlie horse for Cassie, and I was like, this must be much worse than just a Charlie horse.
Well, Charlie horses can be debilitating. Like I remember I got one that was really bad, and I was out for like a week.
I wonder, like, he went in straight ahead though, right? Because I also had the thought that maybe it was a hip flexor type scenario or something.
Yeah. So just pray for Charlie Horse because
Yeah,
you need Zach Cassian in a game like that.
It was especially tough because Monday's game against the Habs was easily, in my opinion, Cassian's best of the season.
Yep.
And I don't think it was close.
You know, the other thing that I take away is you can always tell those games where McDavid's frustrated. He does just those little things like that little weird elbow, you know, he never tries to do that dirty kind of cross check to a guy that's skating by him. But in last night's game, you could tell that guy was frustrated, and I don't blame him.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine too, as long as it doesn't take him off his game. And I know he's the player that can do that. Obviously, he's the best player in the world. But what I'm saying is like it's so evident, and especially in a game last night, like where you see just Draisaitl getting cross-checked down like 3 or 4 times by Weber, and you know lots of cross-checks. Even
like how does that not get crossed?
Louis saying it in the second intermission. He's saying these cross-checks are going to start being called, and they just weren't. And then a fucking lumberjack out there.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of cheap stick work last night, and I usually like that. But if we can't match that same thing, then it turns me into the guy that goes, start calling it, right? And we couldn't match it. We just simply couldn't match that type of play.
It doesn't need to turn into a fucking cross-check off where everyone's just like laying lumber into each other. That's like shitty hockey.
No, but there was no repercussions for them doing it. There was no penalties,
yes,
there was nobody on our team.
Because Draisaitl steamrolls fucking Edmonton and he gets called for interference, which was a garbage call. And then he gets lumbered from behind.
Brutal.
And it's no call. And Connor McDavid gets hacked and whacked and slashed at every turn. Nugent Hopkins is tripped while the Oilers are on the power play. But then when McDavid throws something back at Perry and he flops around like a dead fucking fish, it gets called. Like the Oilers stars are pushing back fine. They just keep getting called for it.
It was crazy reffing last night. Like in the first, so I was writing the wrap up last night and I was just kind of making notes as I was going along. And through the first 40 minutes, it was fucking prison rules out there. Yeah. I was surprised Koskinen wasn't like making shanks for the boys at the end of the bench. But then come third period, that changed everything. The Draisaitl penalty was ludicrous. Yep. Puljujarvi got hauled down with the puck in front of the benches. Nothing. It's just what is a penalty and what's not. Either call the rules or don't call anything, but stop flipping back and forth. It was driving me fucking crazy.
And then when they flipped, it was one-sided.
Very one-sided.
That was the issue. It's like, okay, well then fine. Like you didn't call that like blatant Nuge trip or that blatant Connor trip. Then like you can't call that Draisaitl. Like the guy had just had the puck and he committed to hit him while he is touching it.
That was a battle.
How is that fucking interference?
Is this a contact sport or is it not? Because that was a puck battle. Two guys going for the same.
I think they tried to make it up there with the Archibald 4 minutes because like that was barely leaking. So normally I don't think that would fly.
Well,
but
and then
like
also
it was too late. It was too late at that point.
The Draisaitl thing, and then it turned into, I mean, Archibald, like I love that guy, but what are you doing, man?
That like in hindsight, seeing how the game ended, like that killed, like that doesn't happen. We're in overtime, but like granted, like if that doesn't happen, really, how does the game finish? Like, do we have that 4-minute penalty? Does this? But like still, like that's a very fixable mistake.
It bothers me that we don't get to like get back on the ice and do something about that frustrating loss last night because we won't play for the 4 days until Monday. And so selfishly, we don't have a game this weekend. That kind of sucks. No Saturday night game usually blows, but for those guys I know that's a frustrating loss. And when you have one of those, I think all you want to do is get back out there and get back to your game plan and not dwell on it, right? Because there was a lot of players that were outside of their game. Like, you know, Draisaitl, he's hitting a lot last night. Now, do we want him hitting a lot? I don't know.
Well,
sure. A couple of
yes, but no one to push back.
But yes, you do. But your two best players going out of their way to do these kind of things, that is not what I want long term.
Yeah.
Well,
there was one
play like that.
There was one play where
go ahead, Jack.
There was one play where Draisaitl, like I knew he was. This is exactly what's going to happen. He got like done wrong, and all of a sudden, Nuge now has the puck and is going to the net, and so he goes to go after the guy as to go to put himself in a scoring position, and Nuge throws the puck across, but Draisaitl has his stick up because he's going for the physical retaliation first, and that can take away from their offensive upside. But you definitely want them standing up for themselves. Like, I loved when Draisaitl ran Edmonton. Like, what a guy to pick to fucking run over. That was great.
So did I.
I love Connor going out and being mad. But the thing is, though, they also need, like, they're also doing this on their own, which is good. But like, they need some teammates to help take care of some of that shit.
McDavid's not slick. He's not slick enough to throw those behind the play elbows at a guy like Perry and not think he's going to get away with that.
Because it's not
There's
part
guys
of his
that
game.
can do that. It's not part of his game. He shouldn't be doing that shit. That's when you see a lack of focus in the guy.
Yeah.
And, and then he throws up his arms. You hardly ever see him emotional. Every so often he'll say something. But that was about the most emotional, kind of like baby throw your arms up that I've ever seen. And you could tell at that moment, guy's off his game. It's working. What they're doing is fucking working. They probably sat in the dressing room and were like, look, let's get these two guys off their game. And now we got Draisaitl running around trying to hit everything in sight. And we got McDavid trying to be, the Gallagher type of player or somebody who like goes and, does the cheap little shit, or the Brad Marchand type of player. And you guys aren't that player.
I know, but we don't have
fall
Cass
in there
now.
and beat yourselves.
But Cass is out of that game. Jujar's not in the lineup. At some point, it's like, well, who's going to do it? So they're just like, fuck it, we're going to take matters.
Okay, so who do we have to do it? Let's seriously break it down, because when you see Cassian and Chase on go, and that toughness in the playoffs is going to be a difference when you come into it, especially when you play a team that has tough stars like the Jets. Who is it?
The thing that was annoying is also last night is to answer Chalmers' question, there isn't. But another thing that was annoying.
But you don't want him off the ice.
Exactly.
Like, Nurse can't.
Exactly. So it's like last night was also frustrating too, because I agree with Chalmers that the boys were getting frustrated, but because of the lack of just the prison rule style of game for the first 40 minutes, that allows a guy like Corey Perry to be like, oh shit, they're not calling anything. This is my welcome to the swamp.
He was the chaos. He was the chaos.
That is what he does, and has done it for 15 years now, or however long he's been in the league at this point. That throws them off, and it was irritating.
Can I say one more thing about the takeaways from last night's game? Just one more thing. I saw a tweet today, and I had never really thought about it, but it's not that bad. People have been comparing Leon Draisaitl to Eric Lindros, a big star. That was
physical. Stoffer last night on TV did that.
You know what? Never, ever. Why would you ever think about that? Because you don't he lumbers around kind of like Lindros did. He makes shit happen, but it's not the prettiest at all times, and kind of almost looks like it could be in slow motion at times. But when you put those comparables together, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it was, I don't want to be the last guy that says
it's kind of a stretch for me.
Okay.
It's kind of a stretch for me.
Lindros was fucking a train, like an absolute train early in his career.
Yeah.
He's like, if Leon can be compared to that, that's great.
Well, Lindros also relied on the physical. Mm-hmm. Like the physical was part of that game. That's what made him a well-rounded hockey player. Now, Draisaitl just uses his body really well to shield people from the puck. Sorry, Donair, man. I can tell Donair, man, wants to move on. You want to move on to your...
Dry's not a power forward, but he does use his body to protect you're right. But Lindros was a power forward. He would go through guys and blow guys up.
All right.
Anyways, Scott,
let's move on.
He can't, he's worn out from the Donair. Honestly, this is what you look like. You just got the AstraZeneca shot yesterday. You look lethargic. You look like you're sweating.
Okay,
Scott, we just gave Tyler his first Donair ever, and he had to eat it on air.
Good man. How was it?
Oh, Scott. How long have you been here for?
Scott's been here for like 5 minutes. That's why I was trying to wrap
I didn't know
Charles.
that.
Yeah, I was just real patient.
The stupid Zoom only has 4 things. So in order to see my boy Scott, I got to swipe to the left. I didn't notice the little dot at the bottom showed up. So
most people swipe to the right, actually. They swipe to the right. But
I swipe right for Scott.
Yeah, touche.
All right, Scott Hastings from OddsShark.com, OddsShark.com. All the sports betting information you need to make the Trevor play. But yes, Scott, they surprised me. They had a Donair skipped to my house. And I crushed about half of it on the pod. I've never had one before. My review is that it's okay. I would probably enjoy it more if I was drunk. Would I search one out again? Probably not. But what about you? Are you a big Donair guy?
Well, to be fair, You didn't actually have a Donair. You had your
Oh, God.
Here we go. East Coaster.
It's not the same, fellas. It's not the same. But I think you nailed it on the head, and you have to be drunk to enjoy a good Donair. So there you go.
All right.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Good insight.
Silver Donair.
Okay, well, I don't know why I want to ask this, but I got to ask this. Why do you say that that's not a real Donair? What is a real Donair?
So I went to, what is it, the Great Canadian Bar? Is that right, in Edmonton?
In Edmonton? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
And they had garlic.
I don't know. Great Canadian Brew House, just whatever.
Yes. Good spot. Good spot.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys class that as your Donair scale, but I would put it at below 0.
I would rank that at a 2. No,
that's generous.
That's not an Edmonton Donair.
Okay, well, that's what I had. And East Coast, like, we have like a sweet sauce, and I'm not usually a sweet person, but it's just a sweet garlicky, more of a thicker sauce. Whereas I found out west, it was more like a tzatziki sauce consistency. And then also the thickness of the cut of the meat. Because I found when I was out there, it was very thin strips, and it's got to have a little bit of depth to it. So I found those were the two things that really were noticeable.
Oh, I respect that opinion.
Makes sense.
I am a thick slice guy.
Yeah.
And so it depends on the shop. There's shops here that go thin and try to roll super tight. And then there's that's why I love Mama Donair. Mama Donair's long, thick strips. Now, the one thing I will give the Halifax Donair is the sauce, because it's thick. They got a nice, thick, creamy sweet sauce with some garlic notes to it that is nice. And I do like the sauce.
One other thing is you don't eat it like a burrito. That thing has to be opened up on a plate, eaten with a fork and knife. Enough of this burrito stuff. Get that out of here.
You want to get the trifecta. Just beat the lettuce. Just beat. Say.
No lettuce.
Trifecta.
A Halifax Donair does not have any lettuce.
Yeah, it's onions, tomatoes, red onion specifically is better. And then the meat and sauce and pita and NHL talk. Let's go.
All right. Yeah. Let's dig into the NHL talk here. We were texting before this, Scott. Is now a good time to maybe take a peek at some Stanley Cup futures odds?
I looked today because I hadn't looked in a little while. I just, they've been pretty consistent where the odds have been. But then I'm looking at it today, and you get Tampa Bay, Toronto, Vegas, and Carolina all plus 700 or below. So in theory, you can throw a 1-unit bet on all 4 of those teams. Colorado's the favorite at plus 375. So if you took Colorado out of the mix, you could have your pick of 3-4 teams where you could throw 1 unit on each of them and at least double your money. So I think it's wide open right now. And I think you have, in theory, you have the 4 teams that are probably going to advance in those Tampa Bay, either Vegas or Colorado. But if you eliminate Colorado, you go Tampa Bay, Vegas, Toronto. Sorry for you guys. And then some form of a Carolina, Florida, Tampa, Islanders, something in that mix. There's a lot of options you can do right now where you can still make a profit, assuming Colorado doesn't win.
They're that heavy on the Avs, hey? It makes sense. Like, they got the goalie now. Grubauer's playing good. That blue line's elite. They have one of the best players in the world. Like, the Avs thing, it makes sense to me, but I still look like the playoffs are such a toss-up. And, like, how often is it that the best team wins outside of last year? Yeah,
absolutely. And it's just, Colorado hasn't done it yet. And that's one of the things you'll see about with these teams that, you've got to win a few rounds to know what it takes to get to the finals and to win it all. And I don't know if Colorado's there. They have all the talent. They definitely could do it. I just don't know if you had Colorado and Tampa Bay in the final, are you going to feel confident in a Colorado bet? I don't think so. Tampa Bay's been there, done that. And they're, Stammer will get back in the lineup. Kucherov's going to be back in the lineup.
They've been missing their best player all year.
Yeah, insane. And they're still 7-1. So Tampa is the one that I really like Tampa right now. They were about plus 600 for most of the season, plus 600, plus 650. So getting them at 7-1 right now, I think is tremendous value.
Aren't they always missing Stamkos though, and still managed to do very well?
People forget last year he didn't play in all the playoffs until what was it, game 2 or 3, comes back, scores a goal, and then he was broken for the rest of the series. Yeah. Wild.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about how the odds in the North Division weren't really worth betting on because it looked like Toronto was starting to run away, and how quickly things can change here. It looks like they might be tightening up.
Yeah, I think tremendous value right now, both on Winnipeg and Edmonton. I always thought it was going to be Toronto, Edmonton, 1-2 in some fashion. I wasn't confident saying it's Toronto. Toronto is the largest favorite of all of the divisions right now at -230. The next closest is Carolina at -210. And then it's Colorado at -165. Those are the 3 favorites. And then the East Division, of course, is a crapshoot between Washington, the Islanders, and Boston. That's and even
is that to win the division?
That's to win the division, yeah. So I'm looking at that.
Vegas
Toronto
is 4 points ahead of them. I don't get that. Vegas, that's insane. They're the only team that's clinched a playoff spot so far. They're 4 points ahead of the Avalanche, and the Avalanche are favored to win that division.
Yeah, +130 for Vegas on that note.
So when you say win the division, like the regular season division, or like
the West
like,
Division,
the
yes.
playoffs?
I'm assuming that's regular season division. Now, that's a good question because it doesn't really specify. That's a good question. I'm assuming that's going to be the top seed heading into the playoffs.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I feel like they would say specifically to like win the playoff rounds, and in that case, you'd expect the odds to be a lot different. That's interesting though. That'd be an interesting bet. I'm taking a peek at that right now.
But I'm looking at that North Division and Winnipeg at +360 and Edmonton at +450. You know, Toronto's in a bit of a skid. And let's be real. Toronto doesn't really care if they finish first, second, third. For Toronto, it's win the North, like get out of the North Division in the playoffs or bust. So it doesn't really matter. And as far as finishing first and playing Montreal or playing second and playing Edmonton or Winnipeg, whatever fashion that comes in, I don't think it really matters because they're going to face them anyway. So I think there's tremendous value on both Winnipeg and Edmonton at this point.
What do you think the odds are that whatever team wins the North, the first tweet from that team account is King of the North?
I bet on that for sure.
I think if the Raptors social media hears this and is thinking, technically, I think they're still King of the North after winning the NBA championship there.
No, they are the North. They are the North.
But I think they're also the Kings of the North. They're everything of the North right now, just after winning the championship. They get it all right now.
All right.
What sport is that?
Yeah. Unless anyone has anything else, I think we can get into our picks for tonight here.
Well,
I want to ask.
Let's set the stage here.
I got to ask Scott something. Scott, how do you feel about putting together a fucking 7-player parlay like Tyler had us do last week to bet against guys for scoring? So basically,
can I break this down for him?
Please.
A no score parlay.
What he did was he took every game. There was 7 games. Mm-hmm. And if you took a player not to score, that was at the +900.
-900.
If you had
-900.
No.
Yeah. We were picking
900.
fourth liners last.
Yeah, so we're picking fourth liners +900, not to score.
That's -900.
-900. Sorry, you would get even money if you took 7 of them, 7 or 8, depending the player.
I won mine, by the way.
So did I, but here's the real shitty part. I would have won a lot more money, except for 3 of the players didn't even dress for their teams, therefore were canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think of that dumb bet?
Well, you know, in the same vein as a greasy money line parlay, I think this feels right in that mix, and that's greasy, boys. That is a real greasy parlay, but I'm for it. I love it. I actually really like that. You get like a little Austin Wagner thrown in there and whatnot. Yeah, why not, eh?
Who was it that ruined yours, Yaremchuk?
Calle Yaremchuk. He hadn't scored in 13 games.
And you even went out as far as to say like Calle Yaremchuk in the podcast. You got to say he never scored. He scored in the last 13 games.
You could also, what's neat about that one is if it hinged on a final bet, you could even hedge with that goal scorer, because they're going to be plus 400 or plus 500.
Yeah.
So you could definitely hedge in that situation. So completely greasy, but I respect it for sure.
Like,
I like that hedge call.
Who the fuck is Kevin Rooney? I don't even know who that is. There's no way he scores tonight.
He's the one that's going to get canceled because he's not going to be playing. That's who he is.
Probably, yeah. All right, look at that. I just put one together here.
Okay.
I got
Can't wait.
Tage Thompson will not score. Jesper Fast, Casey Cizikas, Kevin Rooney, not convinced he's a real NHL player, and Evan Rodriguez. You put those 5 together and it's plus 103. Lock.
Yeah, it's not. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
Scott, do you know what?
It's a
Do you know
lock.
what the one thing that shows me about this is that when it comes to sports gambling, there is a million different ways to try to beat the books. And I don't know how anybody, like, you must just sit there every day trying to think about stuff like this, but you never thought about the 7 players that don't score a goal, did you?
Yaremchuk, I'm already predicting Tage Thompson is going to break your parlay.
Oh, the curse of Tage.
Buffalo is playing loose. Now, Scott, your counterpart Ian came on last week.
Yeah.
And he gave us a bet to make. Didn't do a parlay, did single game, and he actually picked baseball for us. And nailed it.
Oh, just so everybody that doesn't get to see this, Scott smirked and did the small brow. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Baseball. But he nailed it.
Tell that to his face too.
He did nail it.
It's like the no goal parlay, but he did it and it won. And I was happy because my account needed some refilling.
Speaking of refilling, I need a refill on my account. So, Scott, please tell me some winners tonight. I got my pen.
What sport am I giving you?
I'll do anything.
So, okay, now there's 2 challenges. I think you got to give us a
Tigers are favorite to win the IPL. Do you want me to go with that?
No.
IPL is legit, and that's a whole interesting discussion for another day about
Jay's also running parlays that have
about how they draft
talking
their
over
players.
each other. Holy shit!
Ooh,
that's the Donair speaking. He's mad because he had one.
Yeah, but I think Scott, we'd like to have a single game bet and give us a parlay.
Okay.
What are you feeling?
Well, my favorite baseball bets right now, stressing out there. I've got the Diamondbacks at plus 130. It's 8-8 in the top of the 9. Talk about a little bit of a stress here. Okay, I'll give you a baseball one to one up Ian. And we're going to get the Red Sox, Nick Pivetta on the hill. It's minus 165, a little chalky, but it's going to hit. And then we'll do a little parlay for the NHL because that's what I was prepared for. Y'all throw me a little hook here, but that's okay. I live on the edge.
Hell yeah.
And of course, you can always single play my parlay because those are hitting pretty good, but we're always missing one game. Our famous Detroit Red Wings are a good play tonight, but we're going to stay away because Jay doesn't like them.
Gee, wow. You've made me not like them. You've made me not like them. Who are they playing?
We'll stay away from that. 3-leg parlay. We're going to go with the over in the Toronto Jets game. That's set at 6 goals. Even money both sides, minus 110. We'll take the Islanders minus 120 over the Caps, and we'll take the Rangers minus 165 over the Flyers.
All right. I like it right there. If you parlay those, it'll be around plus 390. I took over 5.5 in Jets and Leafs. What I'm going to do though, Scott, and something I've actually become a fan of this going back to football, I like doing the little round robin where it tiers them all or matches them all up for you. Is that something like you'd advise someone doing if maybe it's like a safer way of doing a parlay?
If you're hitting at a good percentage, because you're also going to risk more money for that one. So if you suck at sports betting, then I would not recommend the round robin. But if you're close in there, like consistently, I'm hitting those 3 out of 4 type situations where, if you round robin, you'd make a little bit of profit there. So it all depends on what your risk factor is, and quite frankly, how well you're hitting your sports bets.
Fair enough.
Just a quick clarification. The over in the Winnipeg and Leafs game, the Islanders and the Rangers, a parlay is plus 389. A $10 bet will win you $38.90.
Right.
I'm lumping in the Boston Red Sox game because I think that.
Ooh. I too like to live dangerously.
All right.
my two underdogs for baseball had already played. I had Pirates and D-backs, so I don't really have much for you on the baseball diamond, but I'll get you guys a dog for next week. I'll keep that in mind.
Nice.
There's 10 games in the NHL tonight. We could do a 10-player not to score parlay here. We'll get.
Let's do it. I'm doing one tonight.
All right, Scott, thanks for the time, man. Appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Good luck.
There you go. That is Scott Hastings from OddsShark. All the sports betting information you need to make the sharper play.
OddsShark.com. Listen to him. He sounds pissed off. He's like slurring his words. This Donair is not treating him proper. A Donair lunch. If you know what, I'm going to write it into my contract for all of my employees that if you are not allowed to have a Donair for lunch, you might as well go for 3 pints at the fucking pub for lunch instead of eating a Donair, because it changes you, man. It changed you.
I would love me a 3-beer lunch today, to be honest.
Before we wrap things up, got to give some love to manscaped.com. They got their whole performance package, their whole line of products. They look sleek and they work well, as everyone on this podcast can attest to. The Lawnmower 3.0. Like, this isn't even me just trying to be a good host. Like, it legitimately has changed how I groom myself. Like, I use that thing religiously. It's fantastic.
The full detailing downstairs for
the full detailing downstairs. It's got the ceramic blade. It's got the skin safe technology. It's got the light. It's waterproof. It literally just stays in my shower now and I don't take it out, which is a really nice part about it.
So the one thing about it is I've been shaving my head with a normal razor for a long time, and it could never really get as close as I want to, but I don't want to bick it. I use the Manscaped razor on my head.
Really?
It's the fucking best thing I've ever done. And because it's so small and waterproof, I can do it myself in the shower. I don't, usually I need my wife to come clean me up afterwards because I'm, over the tub trying to get it in the tub or something. It was game changing.
There you go. If you are like Chalmers and want to use it on your head, promo code REALLIFE gets you 20% off and free shipping on everything on manscaped.com. And they got a bunch of creams. They got their boxers if you load up on one of their packages as well. Really, really good stuff. Find out yourself. Manscaped.com. That promo code is REALLIFE. I'm gonna be honest here. Chalmers has nailed it. I need a fucking nap right now. So
you look like you're just spent.
Yeah, I am. I'm like
I've never seen somebody start this podcast with piss and vigor and just straight up look like he's a man beaten.
I had other topics I wanted to get to today as well, but we'll save
them
those
up. Let's go.
No, we'll save them for Monday.
He doesn't have the energy. He doesn't have the energy for it anymore.
Could you imagine Tyler though? Like, I'm worried about you, Tyler. You're a 23-year-old man. What happens when you get up to be Chalmers and Jay's age? You're going to be.
He looks a little more pale too.
I'm actually one of my health things right now is I'm concerned I can't drink beer anymore. If I have 2 beers,
but I thought all beers tasted the same.
They do. If I have more than 1 beer, I am like the gassiest mess you can ever and I smell like shit.
Well, you probably have a weed allergy or something.
So my mom and my sister both have an allergy to something called brewer's yeast that they developed in their 20s. And I'm nervous that I'm starting to become allergic to beer.
I guess you'll have to start drinking Mike's Hard Lemonades. You know who, I think it's Cody. What are you laughing about, Cody?
Dude, Mike's Hard Lemonades? Like, that's what you're going to pivot him to?
Don't sleep on Mike's Hard. So our boy Cody, who's a big Nation fan, I saw him post something about a berry vodka mixed with a Smirnoff Ice, and it sounds delightful. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to have one on a nice warm sunny day.
This is going to be Tyler's introduction into vodka sodas. You can just see it going down.
And I'm usually not a big vodka guy, but I've kind of started to warm up to the idea
as you get older, you kind of have to adapt, and vodka is a great adaptation because
vodka soda,
it's basically natural, right?
Basically good for you, I think.
Basically water
good for you. Basically water, hydrating.
Maybe I'll have a nice vodka tonight.
Tyler, I get laughed at sometimes when I go to the pub with the boys and I order myself a vodka soda with a little splash of cran in it. It's delightful.
I respect it. I respect people who order whatever the hell they want and don't give a shit about the judging.
Drink shaming is just so fucking dumb.
We're all trying to get from point A to point B. Doesn't matter if you ride a bike or run.
Day three of a football trip, you'll see me walking down the street with some Mike's Hard Lemonades or maybe some Twisted Teas, and I don't care. Look, that's what I can handle.
I love those, but I couldn't put a day in.
No, but they get you back.
No.
They get you through the initial pain. They get you back where you need to be, and then you go back to the normal stuff.
I go straight to a Caesar. That's my back in the game.
Yeah. Caesars are great for that.
Game.
It's true though. Caesars are so delicious.
White Claws do that for me because White Claws literally just taste like water. And if you're trying to get back to like a solid buzz after you're hungover, like pound 2 or 3 White Claws, you'll feel like refreshed and energized. Legit.
Have you tried these Vizzies yet?
No, I haven't.
Vizzy?
No, not yet.
So they are another one. Like, I don't even know how many seltzers there are now. I've lost track. But they are for sale at, like, my wife doesn't like the fact that the White Claws taste pretty fake, a kind of, kind of a chemical.
Well, they're not vodka soda, right? Like they're like
seltzer.
a malt beverage. Yeah. So it's a difference.
Seltzer, yeah.
Right. But she likes a neutral,
Yep,
but these
vodka soda.
They're different.
Yeah.
They're different. But anyways, go on.
Try a Vizzy. I don't even know anymore.
I was actually talking to sales guy Jared. And we might actually have a vodka soda company coming on board to sponsor the pod, which means we all get to get drunk every episode. Just kidding. But we might get some products to test out. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Love me a vodka soda. I'm ready.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, that's gonna do it. I'm gonna go fucking sleep off this Donair here. Jay, thanks for sending that over. That's good content. We gotta get the video to Waz, our new video guy, and see if he can build.
Yeah, shout out to Waz.
Yeah, I love Waz. Can you send him the video?
Yeah, I'll hit him up with the video file.
You have 2 video guys now? There's Josh Park and Waz.
I'm kind of
Josh is like a videographer, and Waz is like a social content creator.
Yep.
So you'll see.
Same, but different.
Just creating jobs.
So you'll see he's doing Insta Reels, he's doing videos for us, he's going to go heavy in the TikTok for us. And yeah.
Oh my God. I saw your Cotton Eye Joe stomping video. How do you feel about it when you watch it on a scale of 1 to 10, Jay?
Okay, I got it before Jay answers.
Okay, what?
I want to know your thoughts because as somebody who's known Jay for 100 years now.
I'm not surprised, for one thing. I knew that as trends go, Jay likes to follow him. He is wearing a Club Monaco sweater right now. And so he's always followed the trends. Now, does he always pick the right ones to follow? I don't know. This stomping on the can Cotton Eye Joe one. I feel like it's the first iteration of him pretty soon doing some of the TikTok dances where like he just shakes his hips or he does the big chest, small waist, big butt type one. Or I feel like that's coming, and I would like to give him the yellow light on it. Say, proceed with caution, my friend.
Well, here's the thing. I'm surrounded by young people, and Josh Park, who's in charge of video content.
You just want to be one so bad.
Extremely. No. So like literally I'm on a Zoom call and he's like, "Hey man, can you pop out for 5 minutes? I got a video idea for Nation Beer." I'm like, "Okay." I pop out. He's like, "Hey," and he's got these empty cans in the bag. He's like, "We're gonna do this Cotton Eye Joe video," and so he knows how to speak to me because Cotton Eye Joe has a special place in my heart. So exactly. So hopefully that video sold 1 4-pack of Nation Beer.
Anybody who follows,
then I can sleep at night.
Anybody who follows Barstool Sports will know that Jay is doing his best Dave Portnoy, where he surrounded himself with TikTokers and now has a podcast with TikTokers that is huge. A 45-year-old man doing a podcast with 20-year-old TikTokers, and it's massive. So Jay, you know what? I'm all for it, man. If it works, it works.
Oh, I have no idea.
But I'm allowed to make fun of you for it.
Oh, well, and that's kind of what it's there for. I'm just willing to try things, and some things will be like, "Wow, Jay, that was brilliant."
Was it one take?
Of course, you can only do 1 take. We only had so many cans. That's all the cans we had.
I mean, you could get more cans.
He played this song off his phone, so I'm like trying to hear it. It's windy as shit. Trying to there was some variables there. We had to really want it. The cans kept falling over. Oh, yeah, it was a grind.
I'm not saying I would have done it first try. Maybe I'll try
anything for TikTok. Anything for TikTok.
Content don't sleep, baby.
All right, let's wrap this.
Yaremchuk does, however. He's been sleeping for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's in a
coma. Eyes are heavy.
Dude.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone enjoyed.
Stupid.
I hope everyone enjoyed my first ever Donair.
Tyler's going to wake up at 9:30 p.m. and then it's just like, what happened to my day?
Well, let's be honest. 1:30 p.m. is Yaremchuk's supper time.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Yeah.
That's actually the first thing my girlfriend said to me when it showed up was, you're not going to be hungry for supper now. I'm not even kidding.
That's in an hour.
Shout out to Oodle Noodle, Twig and Berries, and Manscaped. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you want to watch the video of me eating that Donair, we're going to get that out on the socials. So keep it locked on at Real Life Podcast. Thanks for all that. That was fun. This episode's over.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.